They get to Worlds and they opening game, they smash EDG, suddenly they make a statement, and the crowd is definitely rallying behind INTZ.
And they're just pretty much building on a legacy at this point, one that Kaboom and Pain have set up. And it's so funny because INTZ for the longest time have been so dominant domestically in the region. To finally have them take this large step on this type of international stage is very exciting for the fans back in CBLOL.
Yeah, they most certainly gained the respect on day number 1, and we'll see whether they can continue that trend as we hop into Champion Select. AHQ, of course, will be on our blue side. Na going to be the first man away from Yang, and I have a feeling that one's going to be relatively consistent after his performance against Mouse.
Yeah, 2 signature bans here, one within the scope of the tournament and one within the scope of the player in terms of Westor. He always sees that TF ban, regardless whether it's meta or not. They just don't want to hand it to him. Because let's be honest, without some of his comfort picks, he has been looking pretty weak.
And now I'm just curious, will Westor pick up the Aurelion Sol? Will Talkers look towards that, or will both teams decide to ban it? Especially as now that Syndra ban has hit the bench.
Yeah, Syndra actually banned on the blue side here, which is interesting. Might be an Aurelion Sol adaptation, as Tahm Kench was banned against Albus, and the Olaf is going to see the final ban.
I think it would make sense if Westor has practiced that Aurelion Sol, because one of his main weaknesses is just his laning ability and the fact that he yields pressure. If there's one thing you can lock in, and with which with relative ease you could
just wander around the lane and you have pressure.
It is the Aurelion Sol. However, with these non-jungler bans, we have to take look at the priority here, and Italy's only seen 1 game of play here at Worlds despite being 100% pick and ban, and this will be the 2nd game, I believe, in the entirety of the tournament we're seeing the jungle champion come out.
Yeah, so the Italy's going to be left up. Does mean that Revolta can head over to his Lee Sin that he's hovering at the moment. Hasn't locked it in. Of course, something like the Rek'Sai is there as well. He did play that in his 2nd game, but to not as great effect.
Yeah, I don't think you need to match junglers here necessarily. A good rotation is Sivir, Aurelion Sol setting up for a very speedy composition. You can still augment that relatively dangerous pick in Sivir in terms of laning. You need to fix that matchup a little bit with the support. But if you have a Sivir, Aurelion Sol as the foundation of your team comp, you can go a lot of directions here if you're INTZ.
Might mean that they're a little bit afraid to show their mid lane pick this early in, although now
doesn't look like they're afraid of anything right now from a spirit of 1 second. That's going to be the
so many
in, and the Cassio was there as well. He was playing without heart all the time. He was playing without heart.
So this is really cool. He had a great performance on Ashe earlier, you know, hitting those really nice arrows, particularly on a certain Chinese jungler. But the thing that I like is that Macau and Jockster aren't necessarily known for being dominant, especially when you look in the context of this international tournament, but giving him a power pick and not being afraid to move towards the Ashe despite her nerfs, to be that playmaker in the late game, I think it's a lot of teams off guard.
Within the scope of this matchup, because Albus, they're not that strong in a 2v2 scenario either, so the Ashe could actually survive and then peek towards the corner of the game where she's actually very strong, which is making those picks, getting that skirmish in for INTZ, and that's the way they beat PG as well. So in that sense, the Ashe pick would make sense. The Cassiopeia one is a little dangerous because Aurelion Sol in a fine matchup. If you haven't seen yet, Fly versus Pico is beautiful. Over in the LCK.
Now, and the Alistar engaged.
We've seen a lot of the Chinese teams looking towards Alistar as kind of that support coming back in. So I'm glad to see that he still has a presence on this international stage compared to the very Nami that's this international tournament. Typically, he gives away a lot of lane pressure because he does have that range advantage. When you're laning against Sivir, you usually just
see whether it is going to be being able to deal with it. Necessarily be towards the top side of the map, even though that was how they managed to take down EDG. Jockster has
26% in the top lane and 30% in the mid lane. So it's very flexible top or
don't know what they're doing, specifically in every game. Like after we see more games come out, the sample size goes up, we can see more trends, and one of these trends could be though the Lee Sin for Revolta.
Yeah, well, Lee Sin's gonna come back. But Jockster is such a big deal. 11 times his most played champion in the regular season, 80% win rate as well for INTZ. We'll see whether he's going to be able to do brilliance here.
And right now there's so much throughout INTZ's composition. They have playmaking ability across the board.
Speaking of playmaking, I have a feeling he's probably just flashing it for the moment.
Signature champion, of course, for Westcore
Most
here.
definitely.
Verbündeter
really
wurde
liking-
getötet.
Focused mostly around mixing and snowballing against a team where you match up relatively stylistically. Strong top laner, strong jungler, pretty even in mid and bot, and then the difference can be made by having the gusto to actually go for these bold plays. You know, throw that bar ultimate out, send that Ash arrow out, hope it hits and play around it. However, it's gonna be hard to play into a Malzahar passive and then out to kind of go full bodyguard, jump in front of the bullet, and then ulti out.
Yeah, exactly right, and that is going to be locked in. Of course, the Jace coming in as well for Ziv. Lots of damage from the top side of the map. As once again, the Malzahar into Cassiopeia matchup for Westall. Ryu had a good time last time we saw it. Joxter now having a look at some Kled.
Before we get too excited over the possible Kled lock-in, just quickly touching back on AHQ's composition and what they've got the makings of. I like the fact that they have so much lane pressure and pushing power on both the Sivir and the Malzahar, and then they pair that in tandem with the Nidalee jungle, opening up a lot of space so Mount can possibly look for invades if he chooses to play that aggressive, fast
Ein
style.
Gegner wurde
They definitely
getötet.
want lane push. It's gonna be rough though from the mid lane. The early levels, Malzahar has to concede to Cassiopeia. Right now, INTZ is thinking, do we go with the conventional cannon or the rumble?
Ein
They do.
It is actually the
Verbündeter
cannon
wurde
lock-in here,
getötet.
so there's definitely kill pressure. If you look
Ein
at
Gegner
what Lee
wurde
Sin needs,
getötet.
Lee Sin needs laners that provide CC for themselves, and Cannon's actually quite reliable at getting at least one stun off on a
Ein
gang.
Beschwörer hat das
So
Spiel
if
verlassen.
we see Revolta path up early for the gang, there's actually a world of is on
We saw that when they were successful against EDG, it was about snowballing, making plays, and Revolta has all of the tools on this composition to do that.
Yeah, and if INTZ want to move around the map as well, I mean, the global power as well coming out of that enchanted Crystallara can take AHQ by surprise, theoretically. And of course, AHQ are the team that do like to do that lane swap early on, that 5-minute mark, move towards the top side of the map, utilize the lack of fortification and try and get that first turret. See whether that is going to be something that they change up, because that has been relatively consistent.
The Mountain versus Revolta is the match to track.
Which
Around
mountain
level,
are we going to get
Which
today?
mountain? Level 3. We need to see the vision, see where they invade at each other, because Nidalee can be stopped by Lee Sin if he sees her coming. And in addition to that, this is the first time Mountain has played Nidalee since week 9 of Spring Split.
Oh my goodness. Well, he has had some phenomenal performances so far here at Worlds. He's looked fine. Mountain hasn't necessarily gone back. We want you to get on Twitter. Tell us who you're backing. Tweet at LOL Esports with hashtag AHQWin or the hashtag INTZWin and get behind your team. INTZ, I have a feeling we'll be getting a few more votes this time around.
Finally heading into game here. We've seen relatively passive level ones go super deep invades.
Too exciting.
The whole goal is usually to get a little bit of deep vision to figure out where these jungle starts. And you can extrapolate a lot of information if you find the location. So let's see if any of these teams are going to go for Cheeky Warden over at Crux, at Red, get a little bit of information from level 1 to work with.
Nidalee is typically much safer at gathering information just because she has the ability that she can go into the wall if she chooses so.
Now can run a little bit faster as well, spending some time in those bushes. But at the moment, INTZ spreading themselves out. Top is actually moving towards the bottom side as Joxter finds himself Chime. There it is.
It's important. Brush Dominance is the new law of level 1. This is actually quite a bit of a bind, and Albus have picked themselves in. Sivir Alistar is not that easy to play. It's such a full lane like Ashe. They're doing a great job. Look at how they're securing basically lane vision. And now they're going to go probably for the late camp stop. Check if somebody's in the back. They don't want to be out to Sivir Lane to do camp. They don't want to
Gegner
camp
wurde
themselves.
getötet.
I know you like to talk about this a lot, Preppo, the fact that Bard is actually empowered the longest at level 1 because he is so strong at level 1 himself due to those powered auto attacks with those moves.
Slap it from the hip.
Remember, guys, if you do want to check out the stream, it is on my page right now.
Who wouldn't want to check that out, though?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. They're now setting up things off. So this Nidalee will probably get a creep before 3 minutes.
Look at everything else so much here. They're trying to juke on the combo.
Yeah, good. Pulverize comes in. Joxter takes it and misses the cosmic binding.
They achieved what they wanted. They were hiding outside of that ward vision. They throw a ball into the brush first, then he walked in and out of the brush to kind of juke the combo maybe. The pulverize Holding the Alpha down. See that double range advantage without pushing too much. Push here. We should be focusing on poke. But I think Ann and Albus are relatively okay with how fast this wave is actually pushing it.
Was wir
And we'll
tun,
see where the
ist
wave
gerecht.
ends up actually settling. A lot of AD carry and support heroes are trying to get this wave to settle right here that you have it on your screen right now. A little bit too close to the tower, super aggressive, but something that I love about Ashe is that when she does get you underneath that tower, her poke
And this
through the
will
volley is
accelerate
just so
speed.
punishing. So you really get that same type of poke on the tower, which is why
They are going to shove it all the way up to this outer turret. Albus and Arn will have some time to get themselves some creeps. Mountain already up to his raptor cam.
Yeah, pretty clear here by both junglers. 3 camps on one side is something we saw less and less at the start of the 6.15 up to 16.18 patch, because you could swap sides of the map a lot quicker here. Now Revolta has a 3 camp enemy red buff contest. It's gonna be late here. You should always assume that Lily is done with this camp here, so I don't know what Revolta's actually doing. This is quite fortunate that he actually spotted out right there.
Talker's moving around as well, but Mountain should be absolutely fine.
I have to agree. Nidalee, it's not so surprising that she would look for a sizable clear, although hold on.
Westall taking so much damage. Good silence comes out, but the Twin Fangs are still there, and Westall has no mana whatsoever. Decent trade, but Talkers, he took a fair bit as well.
And that means that it's going to be the pot advantage now for Talkers in that mid lane. We had some questions about Westor versus Talkers, if Talkers would be able to punish that on an international stage, international competition.
Yeah, headbutt pole. Joxer takes some damage, but man, this guy is aggro on the Bard. More than happy to fight back.
Angst ist der
the lead
erste von
engage.
vielen Gegnern.
How well the pressure is going into the other lanes here, because the jungle duel is what we were watching. This will be a breaking point eventually. This bot lane will get out sustained, but Ann and Albus should be able to find a base here, relatively even CS. Mount right now stealing a little bit away. I think he's definitely punishing Revolta here. It was a little over eager to invade such a late red buff. Usually you want to do a 2 camp or a 3 camp straight invade, but having 3 camp left side to then walk all the way over to contest red buff is a little bit easier.
Dude, really putting some pressure down here towards the top side. Even throws the ward down.
Vertraut auf euch selbst.
Little cannon. It's not really throwing the CS, he should be fine.
Definitely helps that you can just fully ward in lane when your jungle is securing Skullcrab vision.
Yeah.
We're seeing why they use the golden jungle here on this patch.
Hier
Who can outpace most, if not all, junglers.
He's going to be able to do all of the pressure that he's going to be acquiring.
Demacia marschiert geschlossen.
Farming the heck out of Revolta.
Again, still competing and waiting for your hard CC. So the big thing about Nidalee jungle is that she doesn't have that hard CC. So she's pretty much reliant on either the post love Malzahar 6, but hold on.
Big one. It's so big for IDC.
Takes so much damage. Revolta now going to have to look for a 1v1, and yeah, the minions are making it far more than that. Revolta takes so much damage. Yang, he might be able to kill as the shot blast comes down. Will the Mother stop good flash? But Westall turned up and is going to get the first blood.
Just outside from Ziv to realize he was in a full minion win and simply walked into that beautifully played.
And this is something that's very well known for the ability to turn around 2v1 scenarios like that. Kind of known as more of a conservative top laner, but showing up big here.
There were about 1,000 minions doing everything they could for AHQ in that fight.
But this gank is so important. Look, massive wave here. This is over eager. Yang is also giving it away. Not really a good angle for to stun Ziv. Ziv is already stunned down, so Revolta had a really hard time connecting this in this wave, and they're going in very disjointed. The minions are basically getting full access to both players one by one, and even with the flash here, look at this. Western comes in to finish it off. This is so well played by Ziv, and the context of what this means within the game.
Fire exchange. Between him and the Lee Sin that entire time.
Had a horde in front of him.
Yeah, well, admittedly, it didn't take all that much effort.
He warded over, so he has no clue that Mountain's in this rush. He smells something, but can he actually do anything? Yang's still level 5.
Yeah, Spear is actually going to takedown onto the Husky. This is a disaster for INTZ.
And this is where INTZ found success when they did win their game. It was through the top lane of Yang, and now he has been firmly shut down for this early game.
Revolta has been punished for his early game decision making. He went for an invade and an early top gank. costing himself a lot of CS. If that gang failed, he would pay the price, and it failed.
Ziv on the top side of that line. TZ trying to make up for it on the bottom side with a big zone. On. Find a kill. Let's get them off the turret.
Yeah, pretty smart from INTZ. Realizing they're weak to the top side. First turret basket here. Still have to respect it.
It's now about what can be grabbed in response to this. The first tower bonus surely will fall for INTZ right there, but meanwhile on the other side of the map, Mountain continuing his counter jungling siege, stealing the red buff and now
Well, age 200. There's INTZ 83%. The CBLOL fans out in force, as they generally are.
just the sixth man behind this team, and speaking of six men,
Yeah, moving towards the mid lane as Mountain trying to get himself out. Good Q for Revolta. And the king wants out. Flashes in. Wait, a flash on good Dawkins. Gets the stun down. He's gonna die.
superstar jungler Revolt right there. Sit Lee Sin mechanics. I know it's known as the insect, but might as well name it the Revolt after that play.
Yeah, King Flash comes out, really good chaining of abilities. Quite unfortunate for Mountain, as he turns out to throw a spear, he goes right into the off Flash and Casamina. Let's watch it again. Let's be honest here, probably shouldn't be here. A little overextended. King Flash comes out, actually right before the sound's connected. Off Flash, and as he turns around, he gets petrified in that petrified. That's a little unfortunate. We're going 1-for-1. Maybe it was going to force a flash. So at least counting up the stakes 1-1 in terms of over-eager moves between Revolta and Mountain.
Yeah, and that's going to even things up. INTZ still behind a couple of hundred, but 2-1 is the kill score. One tower in favor of INTZ. The fact that the goal is what they do on that front after that first tower, especially from that side, which is very quickly getting out of.
So what is important is that it's the bottom tower that's down right now. So doing a good job making sure that Macau and Roster are still locked down, pushing the way forward, making sure that Ashe has to be there to pick up the free CS. But as Ashe starts getting unlocked from the play, that's when INTZ can continue their snowball by using that Ashe arrow.
Yeah, Mountain kind of hit here. This point right here, the top lane, that's the breaking point of this matchup. Seeing another gang come out.
Yeah, there's the Maelstrom as Ziv gets stunned up, but he's trying to take it back here. The king preemptively Revolta just slips into the face.
It looked so great for a second. Will we see another 1v2? But then he actually canceled one attack, and it was simply kicked into the turret range here. Great moves here by INTZ. First playing around their weak point by going fixing the mistakes they made earlier by getting another kill on the top side.
In response, though, AHQ will pick up the Infernal Drake, but I also wanted to point out that How and Jockers realized that their team was making a play on the top side of the map, and they wanted to play very defensively on the bottom side of the map. So great cross-map communication.
So now getting pressure. Comes out of this lane in mid. But this is not the same thing. Was expected to struggle in this matchup.
Definitely not the easiest matchup to play. You lose a little bit of pressure early. Wester even roamed up for that kill initially. Talkers was donating that one kill, but it comes from the class, which means there's still a zone. Yes, which is honestly what HQ wanted to do.
Oh, those chimes. Take yourself down some crows. That top side of the map. Mountain forever hovering.
Nie warum.
Getting the door in the game, right? Composition in terms of making picks. Now gets a face off, walks into any random lane, and actually combined with a teleport. Pay off well, but keep the angle alive. Power's falling. Again.
Yeah, now it goes Yang. He's trying to attack good. He bounces back. He's got to catch up to him. Another bounce comes in. He gets under another turret, but is that going to be enough? Tempered Fate was almost there, but Ziv gets the kill.
Revolta is underneath them.
Oh, good Q. He's still looking for it. Fair bit of damage now as the kick's not quite off the minions. They're not there. This case is so big. The acceleration gate should be able to get him to safety. Talkers could not chase after that man.
And the minion aggro not enough to finish off Mountain. So close there for Revolta.
Yeah, Revolta looking to kind of make up for a mistake earlier by his team. Going pretty greedy, knowing he would likely die at the end of that play.
Einen Turm
We saw
zerstört.
the beating for INTZ to not only lose 2 kills in that exchange in the top lane, but also lose their mid lane turret. And mid lane turret is so important if you want to keep any semblance of control on the base.
And the reason why is because Ziv is absorbing so much pressure into the top lane. All of INTZ.
Whistle from over the side. Albus into the hip hop. Right, the silence comes in. Malefic Visions will finish it off. Keeps up the edge.
Out of Fog of War, totally unexpected to get a random Malzahar ulti
It's like,
with a
wow,
flash
there's
cow.
purple attached to my head.
Why am I studying on a bunch of void things?
I was expecting a pause.
That moment on Ziv. Suddenly your screech gets red.
Not in blue. Mountain is going to steal that one away and give it to Westor here. A lot of control on the bottom side of the map. That turret, of course, did fall down as well. Now getting about a 4,000 gold left.
A lot of control is a bit of an understatement. 4 blue players sitting down there now looking to pressure this gainer tower. And again, it's because Ziv absorbing so much pressure. There were 3 members of INTZ on the top side.
Yep.
Safely backs away, and it's another free tower and objective for AHQ.
HQ is definitely leaning on their strengths here. Whenever they see an opening, they're not afraid to take it here. And this is some of the things that we were expecting from INTZ coming into the tournament. They opened with a very big surprise, but they're still looking to kind of dot the I's, cross the
Euer Team
T's
hat einen
in their play. A little
Inhibitor
overeager at times, not always thinking too far ahead of what the repercussions of a play is going to be. And then we have to go back to the early game. Revolta going for the early invade, getting outpaced. And then Yang finding himself 1v2'd in the top lane.
Legendär.
Yeah, we have to look back at what H2K
Ein
did to
Verbündeter wurde
INTZ.
getötet.
Played cleaner League of Legends. HQ will be trying to do the same thing. It's only 14 minutes into this game. INTZ
So, Black is still on timer right now. The number 1 onside Albus and Mountain doing right now on your screen. And then there's applying pressure and bouncing waves between the lane and top tower, looking for ticks or chip damage on those turrets.
Why he couldn't jump over him, but when he realized, he turned around straight into the trying gaze. It was so good coverage, but he's dead on.
Miasma's there as well as Taka's looking to turn this one.
AHQ still do have momentum, so at least it's here on the water. So they don't get the ultimate there. Catches Cow off guard.
Now we have to wonder what INTZ is doing in terms of predicting these plays, because Yang is hanging around in the bot lane, desperately looking for that level 11 to get the second form of the ultimate, but he had teleport up right there. Maybe they could have read kind of the play, played a little bit more safe here. It feels like INTZ is thinking about what they should do next, but they're never calculating into that. Always make the first move, make the pick. In that situation, you gotta read your opponent and actually make a trap.
They have so many tools to do that as well in the competition because there are so many poke options. They can quickly turn a 4v5 into a, or excuse me, a 5v5 into a 4v5.
Yeah, they can make knows that. The simplicity gets you predictability.
It just goes back to the beauty of that competition. We were talking about champions, like the fact that they have the spell shield, and they have the Malzahar passive that you can go into his ultimate walking parts.
Free dragon. fall down. What? That was not a very magical journey.
He is still going to be okay.
Sometimes it's just a little shorter than you would expect. The journey